People are often trying to find the right time to do things, right? There's always a time and a place. And right now, one of the biggest questions that we're getting on our calls is, when is the best time to actually move to Hawaii? Well, if you're in the military, obviously you don't have a choice. But if you're not in the military and you're moving out here on just your own free will, then you're trying to time that, right? And we're talking about all these factors because there actually is a season where it is more busy as far as people coming and going. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Right now, we're going to talk about when is the best time to move to Hawaii right now. What's going on? Welcome to the Living in Hawaii channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about what it's like to live in Hawaii, the up, down, left, and right, eat, sleep, play, breathe, everything that you need to know about living in Hawaii and where it is that you may want to live considering your lifestyle, needs, goals, and priorities. If you're not new, welcome on back. Make sure you all hit the like button. It helps anybody else be able to find this information. Hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so that you all get notified anytime that I upload a new video on this channel. And look, we get so many people reaching out, calling, texting, emailing, talking to us about their potential move, or they're already on the way, or they're even already here to Hawaii, and we absolutely love it. And you can do the same thing too. You can reach out, like I just said, you can call me, you can text me, you can slide in my DMs, you can even skip all that and head to the link down in the description below, and you can schedule a Zoom call with us, and we'd be happy to get on a Zoom and talk to you about all these things that involve moving to Hawaii, the communities, any other questions that you may have. Go ahead and do any of those three right now if you'd like to before we even start this video, and we're gonna go ahead and kick things off when we're talking about the best time to move to Hawaii. So why are we even talking about when is the best time to move to Hawaii? If that's something that's already an agenda for you, you're already doing it, or it's just a heavy thought, or maybe again, you've already just made that move, but you've probably experienced that then if you've already made the move, right? But why are we talking about this? Well, like I mentioned before, this is a question that we get all the time. And because there actually are seasons that are involved, right, with a lot of people relocating, and we're going to talk more about those, right? A lot of homes either coming up on the market for rent or for sale, right? And a lot of people coming in and filling those voids for rent or purchasing those homes. So it really does play a factor when you're moving, because in some of the slower times, right, there may not be as many properties that are available if you're looking to rent first, right? Or for however long, right? There's not going to be as many, and it really depends on the time of the month that you're looking to, right? And the same thing for purchasing. There's a season, right? There's seasons when this stuff is really popping, even though right now in 2022 everywhere inventory is at all-time lows. We're looking at about a month of inventory right? So that's in 2022. Now, when we're talking about the best times to move, we're going to dive into some of the other things that actually do play a factor in when it is that you may be thinking about making your move. One of the key factors that can play a role for you is the weather. And this depends on where it is that you're coming from and the time of the year that you're actually able to make the move, right? Maybe, like I said, everybody's trying to time this, but there's so many variables and factors that come into play because every single person's individual situation is different, right? So the weather could play a factor for you. Not so much for us out here. There's really not a bad time to get here. The weather is, year round is amazing, right? We do have a hurricane season that you've got to be aware of. Just like Florida, right? And the Gulf Coast, we've got a hurricane season. And they come up through the Pacific. We get those. So things to pay attention to and watch out for. If you're thinking about making that move in September, you might want to check the weather and make sure that there's nothing heading towards the islands. Okay. Now, as far as where you are, right, these things could affect you, and we're talking about basically places where, if it's in the winter time and you're able to make the move in the winter time and it's heavy snow and you're up in the north, right, and heavy weather conditions with a lot of snowfall caking up on the ground, then we got to talk about safety concerns, and then people driving the trucks and the containers and the ships, all those things start to play a factor. And then we got to worry about the moving companies, and we'll talk about that next. But the weather in those types of areas can definitely have an effect on when it is that you may be making that move out here. And now let's talk about where it is in those specific, right? So for the mainland, right, we're talking about the entire United States. Obviously, if you're coming from the East Coast, right, and you're all the way over there on the East Coast, if you're Northeast or South, anywhere on the East Coast, you've got a long trip ahead of you, right? So even a direct flight, you're looking at roughly 13 hours, give or take, right? So that's just your flight, but we're not talking about your goods. If you're talking about moving out here with your own household goods, they've got to go across the United States, most likely to a port somewhere in California. And then from that port, they're going to hit a boat, right? They're going to hit a cargo ship, and then they're going to have to come out here. And as long as that cargo ship has great weather conditions crossing the ocean, things may happen faster than you think. But like I said, it depends on where it is that you're located in the United States. If you're located closer to the West Coast, right? You don't necessarily have to be in California, but if you're closer to California, right, then it's not going to be as difficult of a time for your household goods to get to a port, or your car to get to a port, right? Even if you're bringing your vehicle out here and you're coming from way far up there in New York or in the Northeast, right? Maybe Vermont, something up there. I don't know why Vermont just came up. It was pretty random. We don't get a lot of people from Vermont, or at least I don't. Random. But I just tried to name somewhere other than a more popular city or state. But if you're coming from way up there, your goods and your car has a long way to go. The amount of things that you're bringing also plays a factor, which we're going to talk about next. The moving companies really do play a factor. We get this question a bunch too. Do you recommend, or which are the best moving companies to get your household goods out there? The first thing I do tell everybody is to consider downsizing, okay? Maybe you don't need that massive sectional that you have in your living room that is just huge, right? Takes up the whole room. Maybe you don't need all that stuff, right? The reason for that, in a lot of these videos I tell you, is you're going to want to consider downsizing, because out here you're paying more for less in terms of a house. When we're talking about buying a house, when you're looking at square footage, and maybe you're used to having a lot more space in of course, the Southeast or the South, you're used to having a lot more space, right, for less money. Out here, you're going to have less space for more money. Things are more congested. There's only so much island, right? And it's paradise. So you're really paying for location, but you just want to consider downsizing. Now, how does this play a factor into your move? Well, now you're not carrying as much weight, figuratively, right, to the islands, right? When you're talking about loading up your containers, if you go to the moving companies and you're trying to get a free quote from some of these companies, and they're asking you, well, what size container do you need? Size of container and weight are going to start to play a factor in it being on the actual cargo ship coming across the island. So those things can play a factor, and this is why we always mention consider downsizing. Maybe you don't need all that stuff that sits there and collects dust anyway, right? When you get out here, a lot of military are coming and going. A lot of people are just posting their stuff on Facebook, Craigslist, Let Go, and some of the other apps and stuff to go ahead and look at and see. So consider using those. Now, we're going to talk about it being a busier time for some of these companies. Next, we're going to talk about the seasons and when things do actually start cranking up. But when we're talking about getting a free quote in some of these companies that we hear or see a lot of, especially where I'm located, I see a lot of pods, right? If you go to pods, I see a lot of pods. A lot of pods from people leaving, right? And a lot of pods from people coming and taking up, some street parking while they get all the goods out, and then pods comes and gets it the next day or 2 days from now, whatever the case may be. I see a lot of pods. I don't necessarily see a lot of specific ones to like U-Haul, but I do see a lot of pods. One of the other big companies out, Matson, if you look up Matson can give you a quote. Royal Hawaiian Movers is another one that you might want to check out for quotes. So there's 3 right there that I've mentioned. I don't work for them. I'm not affiliated with them. All right. I'm just mentioning that's what we see pretty commonly out here as far as people moving their household goods. So you can consider those companies. They should be able to give you a free quote and give you a good idea of what it's going to cost you based on size of container and weight and those other factors for the cost of your move to get your household goods out here. When is the actual best time to move to Hawaii, Ryan? Stop beating around the bush. Give us the meat and potatoes. All right, when is the best time to move to Hawaii, right? Like I said in the beginning, so situational dependent. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's got everything going on in their life. You got kids, you don't got kids, maybe you accepted a position, you got to be here in 2 weeks. You don't have the best time to move. You just got to do what you can with what you got, right? Now, in terms of the seasons, which is what I was referring to, if you're looking to you have a little bit more freedom with your move and you're trying to find the best time to move to Hawaii, as far as if you're renting and you want to have more options, or if you're trying to purchase a home, market considering, right? These are the seasons that we notice the most, and it's really the summer. The summer is when we see the most people moving in and out, coming and going. And a lot of the reason for that is kids not being in school. That's one of the biggest factors, especially I know because I'm a veteran, for military, right? Kids not being in school. You don't want to have to uproot your family during the school year and relocate. So a lot of times when we talk about like PCS season, and this isn't a military specific video, this is to let you know that the summertime, a lot of military are coming and going, and you're probably going to start seeing more homes popping up for rent or for sale, right? Because a lot of people have orders to go somewhere else. But that also goes for non-military families who are not in the military, and they just, they have a job or an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, remote work, working online, freelancing, whatever it is, and they're looking to make the move off the island and they have kids. Then, right, you don't want to take your kids out of school mid-semester. So you're going to want to wait till after the school year is over, right? Let them finish 7th grade before you uproot and move and go to somewhere else for 8th grade, right? So the summertime, spring is when it kind of you start to notice more hitting the market. And then when the summertime hits, it kicks off. Now, that's not to say, again, that people don't move during the winter or the fall or the spring, right? Beginning of the year. We actually have a lot of people that I'm working with now, a lot of clients who have reached out, just like I told you in the beginning of this video, you can reach out. A lot of people who have reached out and are making the move right now. And this is in February, okay? Beginning of 2022 in February, people are making that move. So this isn't to say that everybody comes and goes during the summer. There's just this massive transition. But to let you know that if you want to have more options and you have the wiggle room to pick and choose when it is that you make the move, it is going to be hotter, right? It's going to be hotter. We're closer to the equator. We are in a paradise, but it's going to be a little bit hotter. But you're going to have a little bit more as far as you should have a little bit more options depending on your situation, your goals, priorities, your criteria for your home, what it is that you need in your home. So that is going to be one of the best times to consider making the move to Hawaii with all the people in transition, if your situation affords you that wiggle room. Like I was saying, consider that if it affords you the wiggle room. But on this channel, we've got tons of vlog tours, tons of community vlog tours that you can go check out. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we get tons of people reaching out. We absolutely love it, and you can do the same thing too. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. You can skip all that and go right to the link down in the description below and schedule your Zoom call with us. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to Hawaii. If you've made it to the end and you haven't hit that like button, why not? Hit the like button. It's going to help anybody else be able to find this information. Hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so that everyone gets notified when I post a new video on this channel. And like I mentioned, tons of vlog tours if you want to start checking out the communities and seeing what it's like to actually go through the communities, not some highly produced, production thing. It's me with my GoPro out in the communities, talking to you about these communities, showing you exactly what they look like without production, right? Because then things get kind of skewed. So we wanted to go ahead and make sure that you guys get the real deal, all right, when we're talking about these community vlog tours. And all those are going to start popping up for you right now.